welcome back to the Matt Borka Show. So today I want to talk about something that happened to probably one of my favorite creators out there, and that person is Rhett McLaughlin, right? He's the co-host of a long-going and very successful YouTube show called Good Mythical Morning. He was definitely a big inspiration for me, probably subconsciously, because I've been a long time fan of the show, and my passion for media and talking to a camera was probably inspired by Ren and Link, the hosts of Good Mythical Morning. But basically, what happened was, so Rhett had to go through a heart surgery very recently, and because of that, they decided to stop doing their podcasts called Ear Biscuits. And I had a lot of deep thoughts about this, and in a sense, it kind of shook me that Rhett is going through all this because, you know, a lot of times when we're very busy and we're working on projects, we tend to forget that our bodies are not invincible, and sometimes slowing down is actually a better idea than going 100 miles per hour, because again, we're not indestructible. Our bodies are not made from, steel. So anyways, without further ado, let's watch the video, and once we're not going to watch the whole thing, we're going to watch a segment from the podcast episode where they announced that they're going to start working on Ear Biscuits. So yeah, let's do that. And just give me a sec. I'm going to set things up.
Yeah, so I think going back to this July break, which we've been trying to do this is the second year that we've basically taken a month off of all the stuff that we do. And it is a time of reevaluation and reflection. And there's something about the level of reflection and reevaluation was intensified because of what I was dealing with.
Sure.
And I think that I just always have assumed that I can take on the next thing. Like, again, I do have a bit of a problem in that way. I just think I can take on the next thing. I'm like, I'm capable of doing that. We can add that to the plate. We can add that to our number of responsibilities, and we'll just adapt like we always do. Like the level of things that we do, and again, I think it might be hard for people to perceive what our schedules are like, because when you see us having fun, because we are having fun. But the systems that contribute to all of the content that we make and all of the responsibilities that we have, it ends up being a lot of our time and a lot of our emotional investment and a lot of stress. It just ends up being a lot of stress. I will be 48 when this comes out. And I think that one of the things that I was thinking about during that time was I was like, man, okay, I'll be 48. I'll be 50 before I know it. What do I want my 50s to look like? And that conversation used to be just simply, what do I want my 50s to look like in terms of my level of responsibility and the number of things that we're doing?
Mm-hmm.
But it felt like a choice that I could make. The thing that this heart situation has done to me is made it very clear that it isn't my choice. That sometimes your body makes the choice for you. Because I, a lot of times, don't have the sense to just be like, I'm going to think about my own well-being, and I'm going to make choices that are consistent with my own well-being.
Right.
And your body is like, I have to speak to, and I know this is not necessarily literally how it happens, but sometimes your body is like, I have to intervene, and I have to create a problem that will get his attention. And it's happened before. It happened with the eye thing when I lost vision in my eye
Right.
during GMM 22, stress-related symptom that resolved itself. But this was like the next level of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I came back from that trip, we began to have a number of conversations. And so I think this is where you can kind of pick up like where
think
you were.
I mean,
you were at.
certainly being close to what you were going through gave a sharper image of
Great story.
things of my perspective as well. You know, we tend to focus on what we're going after, and the ends justify the means, and it's hard to make the connections between your well-being and the decisions you're making for 3, 6, 9 months down the road.
Yeah.
But we get in this habit of, it's our MO that's how we've worked our entire lives. And when these things come out of nowhere, like physical trials or that type of thing, it did put things in perspective for me. So I was having this parallel reflection at the same time, that when we got back together, we had some good conversations after our breaks that were like, okay, we had clarity about a number of things.
Yeah. And I think that
and the chief one is our workload.
Yeah. Thinking about how willing we have been to spread ourselves very thin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's a whole host of reasons why that's been our tendency, and that's been the way that we've continued to move things forward. And I think we started having really, really pointed conversations about what does it look like to not spread ourselves too thin? What does it look like to pull back a little bit, to focus, to simplify?
Because the things that we want to go after require energy and self-care to get there. And the cost to get there, we become much more informed with how our age and our bodies impact, like what we have to invest and what we have to protect in order to go after those things.
Yeah.
So then we start to have a conversation about, it's more of to use the medical term, like a triage, like what can go and what needs to stay. What do we want to stay? And what do we want to add that we're going after? Because we're always trying to go after something new.
And we'd already made the decision to what we were adding to the plate that we can't talk about right now, that we were already working on and will be working on.
Right. We've told you we're not doing a Wonderhole season 3. Instead, we had already decided in the midst of that what the next project we wanted to do, and call it a passion project. So it's another thing that we're doing is we're listening to our passions, and we're not talking ourselves out of those things.
Yeah.
So all of those pieces come together, and we can start to put labels on it, lead us to making the decision to take a break from ear biscuits. So the decision that we've made is at the end of the year is when we'll have the last episode of this year will be the last episode of Ear Biscuits indefinitely. We're taking an indefinite break. Now, it's not the first time we've done this.
I think this is enough. So, yeah, I have so many thoughts. So first of all, I think we have to understand that there's American work culture is so intense. It takes a toll on your body. And I actually had several conversations with business contacts around this that, they're feeling it, hustling, working very hard, really going at it. And then what that sort of go-getter mentality, what that does is that even though I do feel that that's the right way to think about work, but there has to be limitations, right? Because if you keep pushing yourself, and if you keep doing these things to your body for long enough, eventually something is going to give, right? And, for the longest time, I thought this is only happening to me, right? Like sometimes I have, well, I wouldn't call them like heart palpitations, but let's say, after a long day, I'm definitely feeling like really exhausted. And there's been a couple of times when I decided to check my blood pressure to ensure that everything's fine, right? And I think this is, well, I don't want to say part of the package, but I understand I work a lot and I've been working that way for some time. But hearing a 48-year-old talking about how he's looking at his career and everything, it's really eye-opening to me, and I feel it's sort of a wake-up call for me that I need to be more careful, and I think everyone should be more careful, right? Because just think about it. If you live in the United States, healthcare is very expensive. If you keep pushing yourself because you want to make more money, because you want to afford more things, and if you don't take care of yourself, that can backfire. Because if you don't have health insurance, if you cannot pay for it, you can get, let's be honest, royally fucked. And you definitely want to avoid that because that sort of debt has put people on the streets, and it's a very serious thing. So I think the takeaway for all of us here is yes, working hard is a good thing, right? That's a positive thing. And I feel both in business circles and in professional circles, it's something that gets approval, right? You work hard, you put your hours in, and you put something on the table for your family, and your business is doing well, whatever. But then it's almost like if you keep doing that long enough, no matter how you're looking at it, it could backfire. It could backfire pretty freaking hard. It's like smoking. You keep smoking, keep smoking. Some people are not affected, and then some people might die from lung cancer, right? And I just started to think that work is sort of the same thing. It's almost an addiction, right? And it has negative impacts on your life. And for those of us who are really passionate about what we do, I think it's a wake-up call that you cannot put so much strain on your body for so long. And I mean, what I've been doing, I've been trying to sort of self-sabotage, meaning I'm trying to do less. I'm not trying to scale the things I'm doing that aggressively, because if I do that, just like with the videos, I've been trying to upload like 5 days a week. Gosh, that's a lot, right? And I have all those other things going on in my life. I'm still doing media buying, and like those deals are, I'm not saying like too labor intensive, but they could be, right? And if you add everything together, all the projects I'm doing, it does add up. It adds up. And I did feel very exhausted when I was trying to record like 5 videos a week. It's a lot of work, and currently I'm doing all the editing by myself. So yeah, there's a lot for us to unwind here, but I think the number one takeaway is you have to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, it doesn't matter how rich you are, it doesn't matter how successful you are. Eventually, it's going to bite you in the ass, as I said earlier, and it's going to have a negative impact on your life. Because if you keep pushing yourself, if you keep and like, where do you have balance, right? Like, that's the hardest, because I think for those of us who do work a lot of hours and it's not necessarily forced on us, I think it becomes very difficult to figure out like where that balance lies. Also because, especially in business circles, it's kind of a thing that people like bragging about how much they work. Oh, I do 14 hours days. Oh no, I do like 18-hour days. I don't even sleep. I only get like 2 hours of sleep every night. Well, guess what? As long as as far as I know, like, we still belong to the same species. So if you keep torturing yourself that way, eventually something is going to happen to you. And there has to be some level of balance. And I'm not saying that people should stop working, but things like this can easily happen to all of us. An unforeseen condition comes up, even if it's not lethal, it can have an impact on your work. And then if you're not able to get back on track after you feel better, think about how you're going to feel after that, right? Like, how that will impact your career, that you won't be able to do anything anymore. And look, like, Rhett and Lang, they do a lot. They do Good Mythical Morning. They've done Ear Biscuits. They do so many things. And yeah, being successful is not everything. Doing the things that you're passionate about and actually carrying them out, if it comes with a lot of stress, and if you feel stressed, I think that's the time when you have to take a step back and really think about what's going on. Because, in my opinion, like, that stress adds up, and then it's going to manifest somehow, right? It's going to take a toll on your body. So yeah, that's basically my take. Let me know what you think. I've been feeling more and more motivated to talk about topics like this, because I don't really feel that we take care of ourselves enough. And we do like thinking about work all the time, right? So yeah, that's basically it. Please subscribe to this channel, like this video, let me know what you think about the video and the topic itself. And yeah, I'll see you around.